If you read 20 books this year and forget most of them, you didn't just waste time. You trained your brain to let knowledge slip away. Imagine spending 200 hours building something and watching it dissolve a week later. That's what happens when you read without encoding it properly. Not because you're lazy, not because you have a low IQ, because you used the wrong format. A week after finishing a powerful book, a friend asks, "What was it about?" You remember the vibe, maybe one or two ideas, but the structure is gone. Most people assume it's low discipline or bad memory. Here's the fix. There's a 4-step encoding loop I'll teach you in a moment. First, understand why it works. Your brain evolved to remember scenes, not sentences. For 200,000 years, memory meant tracking danger, movement, and location. Where was the river? Where did the predator run? Who stood near the fire? Text is new in evolutionary terms. Text-only learning is like pouring water onto a flat surface. It spreads and disappears. Visual spatial encoding creates channels so the water has somewhere to go. Ask yourself, what movie scene can you recall instantly? And which book have you already forgotten? That gap is the clue. Memory is not a storage problem. It's a translation problem. So we'll build a translation process your brain accepts. First shift. Stop relying on one channel. In the 1970s, psychologist Alan Pivio proposed dual coding theory. Words activate a verbal channel. Images activate a visual channel. Combine them and you create 2 retrieval paths. If one fades, the other can bring it back. Think of your brain as a city. Words are addresses. Images are landmarks. If you forget the address, the landmark still guides you. Let's try it. Word only, inflation. You may recall a definition. Now an image, a giant red balloon stealing food from a dinner table labeled savings. The balloon swells as plate's empty. Which sticks? Some neurons respond more strongly to clear, recognizable images than to abstract definitions. The more concrete and distinctive the image, the easier it is to retrieve. Try another. Photosynthesis. Definition: plants convert light into chemical energy. Now imagine a bright yellow sun pouring liquid light into a green leaf, like fuel into a car. Sugar cubes stack up inside as the leaf grins. Tomorrow, which version will your brain grab first? 2 channels beat 1. Whether it's anatomy diagrams, revolutions placed in rooms, or cranial nerves along a hallway, the pattern is the same when information has position. Recall becomes a walkthrough instead of a search. You don't need more examples. Apply it once yourself. Here's the upgrade. The encoding loop is simple. Sentence CD, scene CD, emotion 4D TV location. Extract one clear sentence. Turn it into a moving scene. Add emotion. Place it somewhere specific. Example: prices rise when demand exceeds supply. Scene: shoppers in a tug-of-war with factories. As shoppers pull harder, a price tag lifts into the sky like a balloon. Emotion: the rope snaps. People stumble. The tag shoots upward out of reach. Location: hang it from your living room ceiling. You've built multiple retrieval paths. Ignore this, and you read 10 pages, understand them in the moment. And a week later it feels like you never opened the book. Not because you're incapable, because you stored it in a fragile format. Images alone aren't enough. They need a location. 2,500 years ago, the poet Simonides survived a banquet hall collapse. The bodies were unrecognizable. He identified them by remembering where each person sat. That insight became the method of loci. Your hippocampus, which is critical for memory, is also deeply involved in navigation. For most of human history, remembering meant mapping environments. River to the east, cliff behind us, predator near that tree. When information has no location, it floats. Give it coordinates. Choose a familiar place. Your bedroom, your kitchen, somewhere you can walk through in the dark. Assign simple rules. Left side equals effects. Ceiling equals abstract ideas. Floor equals concrete examples. Now run the loop. learning the French Revolution. Left closet, a giant loaf of bread wearing a crown squeezes peasants, food shortages, and taxation. Right window, an angry crowd tears down a royal flag. Ceiling, glowing words, liberty and equality. Floor, empty bowls scattered across the carpet. Recall becomes a walkthrough. If you can walk it, you can remember it. Now add movement and emotion. Static images fade. Moving, emotional scenes last. Emotion signals importance. For most of human history, sudden movement or threat mattered for survival. If inflation is just a balloon, it's mild. If the balloon knocks plates off the table while laughing and expanding, now there's tension. History example. In 1914, alliances contributed to World War I. 4 kings sit at a table chained together. One stands and flips the table. The others are yanked up by the chains. Cups shatter. Guards rush in. Workplace example. Phishing emails are dangerous. An email slithers across a desk, opens drawers, steals paychecks, and escapes through the screen. Numbers example. Losing 2% annually to inflation. Your paycheck is a loaf of bread. Each year, a rat takes 2 bites while staring at you. It comes back every January. Each example is slightly absurd on purpose. Exaggeration makes it distinct. Subtle fades. Dramatic lasts. Memory champions don't increase IQ. They increase vividness. Playing cards become characters fighting. Numbers become animals colliding. If it doesn't move or matter, it won't remain. When you build a scene, ask, what is moving? What is surprising? Where is the tension? If nothing stands out, intensify it. Summaries feel efficient, but they remove motion and emotion. That creates recognition without recall. You look at the page and think, I know this, but without scene and space, there's nothing to walk through. Let's run the full loop in under 20 seconds. Concept: we delay tasks to avoid discomfort. Scene: a student shoves a math book into a freezer to cool off anxiety. Emotion: the freezer bursts open and the book chases them across the kitchen. Location: it's on your kitchen counter. That's the cycle. Meaning: movement, emotion, placement. Test yourself tomorrow. Can you see it? Can you point to it? Can you walk past it? If yes, recall follows. 2 modern habits weaken this system. First, premature AI summarization. But if you read them before building your own scenes, you skip the effort that strengthens encoding. It's like someone chewing your food for you. You swallow, but you didn't do the work. Second, sleep deprivation. Sleep is when the brain stabilizes and reorganizes memories. Visual and spatial information especially benefit from proper sleep cycles. Effort plus sleep is required. Reading without sleep is designing without saving. Your brain evolved for space, emotion, and movement. Modern learning gives you abstraction and text. Your job is translation. Sentence ID: Scene IV motion thauetation run the loop. Tonight, take 1 real chapter. Extract 1 core sentence. Per section, turn each into a moving, exaggerated scene. Place them along a familiar route. Tomorrow, test recall without notes. If you can't recall most of it, don't reread blindly. Make it louder, stranger, more emotional. Are you willing to read fewer books and remember more of them? Quantity without encoding is decoration. If you can't see it, you won't keep it. You don't have a memory problem. You have a format problem. Use this loop once per chapter and your recall will feel different tomorrow. In the next lesson, I'll show you how sleep determines which scenes stay and which fade. Until then, don't read more. Encode better.